Welcome to MTG Collector's Corner. Happy Duskmourn release day. Were you able to make it out to a Duskmourn pre-release last weekend? Well, I got invited to a Duskmourn pre-release special event across the state in St. Louis. I packed my bags and loaded up 2 of my sons to go play with me. Here's how it went. So Friday morning before the pre-release, my middle son Nathan showed up at my house, 30 minutes late as usual. But as soon as he arrived, we loaded up the car, including Landon, my huge binder, and we were off to pick up my youngest son Christian. After picking him up, we stopped for gas and hit the highway. St. Louis is about a 3-hour drive, so we talked about what cards we were excited about from the new set, discussed Big Brother, and listened to our favorite music. We finally made it to our hotel around 4 p.m. and settled into our room. We were on the first floor and had an awesome view of this dispensary that was literally 10 feet from our window. After resting a bit, we drove across the highway to a barbecue restaurant called Pappy's. As we made our way in, we were greeted with a sign informing us that they were out of burn-ins. A little disappointed, we made our way to the counter and ordered dinner. The food was not terrible. Definitely not as good as our hometown barbecue, but it hit the spot as it's been a while since I've been able to have barbecue. After dinner, we went back to the hotel to get ready for our event that night. Nathan and I had a couple of complimentary beers at the hotel, and then we were on our way to the store for the tournament. After a short 10-minute drive, we arrived at the store that was simply called the Collector's Store. It took up most of this strip mall, flanked only by a chiropractor's office. As we entered, we were greeted by a very clean and organized showroom featuring cards of all types: sports cards, Magic, One Piece, Pokemon, and more. They had a decent selection of Magic singles in the showcase, and there was also this entire corner dedicated to Pokemon. We made our way through the showroom to the play area, which was jam-packed with people. They were hosting a number of various tournaments that night, with Magic being only one of many. Each tournament had its own dedicated area and was very organized, with table markers and TVs displaying the various game timers. I got us all registered for the tournament, and we ran into Dez, the guy who organized this meetup, and some of the various members of our Discord server. We chatted for a while, and I was able to get a couple of lands signed and put into the binder. After chatting for a bit, it was time to start the tournament. We were seated alphabetically for deck building, so Nathan, Christian, and I were able to show each other our pulls. I first pulled out my promo card, and it was the Black Overlord, Overlord of the Baelmerk. I was super stoked to pull such a bomb for my promo card. Christian was lucky enough to get the Unstoppable Slasher, another bomb rare, for his promo. Nathan pulled the Demonic Council card for his promo. I opened all of my packs, and I was super happy with the cards I opened. I opened 2 Winters and a bunch of other good red and green cards. After sorting my cards by color, I realized that I had opened a Special Guest Collected Company. Apparently the Special Guest cards were packaged between the commons and uncommons, so I overlooked it earlier as I was opening packs. Looking back at the video of my pack opening, I realized that I had opened Winter, Collected Company, and Marvin all from the same pack. With 2 of my rares being Winter, I decided to build a Jund deck. I really considered building a 60-card deck simply because I had Overlord of the Baelmerk in addition to Winter, and I was wary of removing 7 cards from my deck each turn, drawing 3 from Winter and milling 4 from the Overlord. I decided to YOLO it and put together 40 red, green, and black cards. After a very short 35-minute deck building phase, we received our first round pairings. Of course, I got paired against Nathan first round. Definitely something neither of us wanted to see. After a quick game of unglued rock, paper, scissors to decide who goes first, we began playing. Nathan was playing a black-white deck that included the new Wandering Emperor. I ended up winning the match 2-1 against Nathan. One of the games I won, I ended up with 1 card left in my library, and I was definitely questioning my decision to run only 40 cards. Christian ended up also playing a black-white deck, and he won his first round against his opponent. I played some really great guys who beat me the next 2 rounds, but I got some more cards signed for Landon. I even got a fun story about one guy's brother making Magic cards and playing in prison, then teaching him how to play when he got out. The event was capped at 3 rounds. I ended up 1-2, Nathan ended up 2-1, losing only to me, and Christian ended up going undefeated and winning the entire event. After the tournament, we were all tired after a long day of travel and gaming, so we headed back to the hotel to get some shut-eye. The next morning, a bunch of the guys from Discord were meeting up for breakfast at a local diner. I was really in the mood for some waffles, so I made my way to the hotel lobby for some breakfast, while the boys were supposed to be getting up and around. After I came back from breakfast, they were still sleeping, so we decided to skip the diner and just eat breakfast at the hotel. After breakfast, we made our way back to the game store to fire up some Commander games before the main event at 2 p.m. Des wanted to play with the three of us and try out his new Coma deck. I chose to play my new favorite, Giada, Christian chose Jetmir, and Nathan played Lathril. I put early pressure on Coma and Lathril as I knew they were the biggest threats and I could outpace Jetmir. I was quickly the early threat, having an army of angels that grew with each turn. Nathan started doing crazy elf things with Lathril, so I applied even more pressure on him specifically. Des was never able to cast Coma, and Christian couldn't find any creatures other than an early Scoot Swarm. I decided to eliminate Nathan first, followed by Des, and finally Christian. We shuffled up for a second game. This time I went with my brand new Eldrazi deck. Nathan played Animar, which is basically Eldrazi. Des stayed with Coma, and much to Dez's delight, Christian pulled out the dinosaurs. This was a very balanced game, with Nathan becoming the early threat on the back of his creatures with Annihilator. Des was finally able to cast Coma and make multiple copies while simultaneously tapping all of our creatures. I was able to look at the top of my deck, and I had an answer for the dominating board state Des was presenting. I had the new Emrakul, and I was going to be able to cast it, and copy its effects multiple times thanks to my Legion of Eldrazi spawn. Christian had other plans though, with a well-timed Awakening Sun's avatar. With me being at 3 life and banking on Emrakul to rescue me, my game was cut short with this play. After my defeat, I decided to go film and talk to some of the other players in our group. One of them took my spot at the table as they shuffled up for another game. Finally, we were ready to begin the main event to win a collector box of Duskmourn that Des had graciously donated to the prize pool. This time, while opening packs, I was sure to look between the common and uncommons for more special guests. Much to my dismay, I found none. I also wasn't very encouraged by my promo card, that was a land. I did open up another 3 rare pack though, consisting of Balustrade Worm, Demonic Council, and Ghostly Dancers. I really wanted to be able to play that worm, but after opening an Unstoppable Slasher and not enough green support, I went black-white. Looking back, I maybe should have went black-green, but my deck served me well throughout the day. I ended up with the first round bye. I probably should have taken this opportunity to tune my deck, but I filmed some more content and talked to some of the other Magic players who weren't in the tournament. Nathan ended up building a black-blue Dimir deck and won his first round in a set of grindy games. Christian went green-blue and lost his first round. My second round, I was paired up against one of the other players from Discord who mainly plays Commander, and this was her first official event. I started the first game off with an early Unstoppable Slasher, and he lived up to his Unstoppable moniker, leading me to an easy Game 1 win. Game 2 was less one-sided, but I eventually claimed victory on the back of a few Flying Ghosts. My opponent was a really good sport and signed one of the new full art lands from Duskmourn for my binder. Nathan had another grindy game and emerged victorious in round 2. Christian couldn't repeat his success from the night before and lost again in round 2. My round 3 came with a loss to a not very fun player. I'm just going to leave it at that. Nathan also took his first loss in round 3, and Christian got his first win of the day in round 3. For round 4, I played against the eventual tournament winner. The first game, I mulliganed to 5 cards and met a timely demise to a very fast Boros deck. Game 2, he mulled to 5, and I won on the back of the combination of Unstoppable Slasher and Grievous Wound. For the final game, I again mulled to 5 and kept a sketchy 2-land hand. By the time I saw a third land, I was on death's door and the game was soon over. Nathan, on the other hand, won his match and was currently 3-1 for the day. Christian decided to call it quits and drop from the tournament. After all was said and done, he finished 5th and I ended up 7th overall. We walked away from the Saturday tournament with about a dozen packs between the 3 of us. After the tournament was over, Des presented the prize to the winner and we gathered around for some group photos. At this point, we were all hungry, so we met up at a Chinese buffet for dinner. Still having a long drive back home, we said our goodbyes and made our way back to Kansas City. We stopped for gas and caffeine in Columbia, where I discovered I had one of my packs that I won in my pants pocket. I decided to use some of the carpool magic, and I opened the pack while we waited for Nathan to come out of the gas station. My luck paid off, and I opened the green Overlord, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Currently the most valuable card in the set. We made our way back to the highway, and we retreated with a light show the rest of the way home, courtesy of the storms out west. We finally made it home close to midnight. I want to give a special thanks to Des and all the Midwest crew for hosting me and my sons for some great games over the weekend. We all had a wonderful experience playing Magic and making new friends all throughout the weekend, and I can't wait to do it again. Duskmourn seems like a really fun set, and I can't wait to explore all the cards and dive deeper into building some decks to play at home. I also can't wait to get my Nightmare bundle and crack that thing open. Duskmourn is out now, so if you're looking to pre-order some sealed product, head over to my Amazon store and load up. As always, don't forget to like, shower, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.